The house was dead quiet. That should have been my first clue. I'd flown in 6 hours earlier than planned, hoping to surprise Emily with dinner. I even stopped at that overpriced Italian grocery in Norwalk for her favorite wine and fresh pasta. I had this whole thing pictured in my head. She'd come home, see me at the stove, and her face would light up like it used to. Instead, I walked into silence. No TV, no music, no footsteps upstairs. Just the low hum of the fridge. My gut tightened. "Em," I called out, halfway into the kitchen. Nothing. Her car was in the driveway. I looked over and saw her purse on the table, phone sitting right beside it. She was home. But where the hell was she? I walked down the hallway toward our bedroom. My shoes barely made a sound on the hardwood, and with every step, something in my chest started pulling tighter. That's when I heard it. A voice, deep, male, low like a damn whisper. Then her laugh. Quiet. Software, but I knew it. Number, no way. Not her. My heart kicked into overdrive. My hand hovered near the door. I didn't want to believe it. There had to be another explanation. But then I heard him again. A short laugh. Casual, comfortable. I pushed the door open, and there she was. Emily, half covered, sitting up in bed with some guy next to her, shirtless, like he belonged there. My body froze. My brain short-circuited. All I could do was stare. Emily turned her head, saw me standing there. For a split second, her eyes widened. And then, God help me, she laughed. Like it was funny, like I was the idiot in this situation. "Oh my God, you're back early," she said, smirking. The guy didn't even flinch. He looked at me like I was the one who'd walked into the wrong damn room. "You should have texted first, man," he said, like we were buddies or something. I didn't say a word. Couldn't. My throat closed up. My hands curled into fists, but I stayed planted there like a damn statue. I don't know how long I stood there. A few seconds? A minute? Then I turned around and walked out. I don't remember going down the stairs. I don't remember unlocking the car. I just remember gripping the steering wheel like it was the only thing keeping me from breaking apart. Quick note. Before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. And the worst part wasn't just what I saw. It was the way she looked at me. Like I meant nothing. Like I'd already been replaced. Question for viewers. What would you have done if you caught your spouse cheating and they laughed in your face? Drop your answer in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more real stories. I just drove. No idea where I was going. Highway, back roads, didn't matter. I was gripping the wheel so tight my knuckles were white, and my chest felt like someone had dropped a boulder on it. I wasn't crying. I couldn't. It was like my body didn't even know how to react. The streetlights blurred past in streaks. At some point, I ended up parked at a 24-hour gas station outside of New Haven, just staring through the windshield like I was watching someone else's life. I sat there for maybe 2 hours, maybe more, didn't move, didn't speak. All I kept seeing was Emily's face when she laughed, the smug way she looked at me, like I was some pathetic joke. I slammed my hand against the steering wheel so hard the horn blared, but I didn't care. I wanted to feel something besides that gut-deep ache that was eating me alive. Every moment of our marriage started crawling back. Late nights she claimed she was working, the sudden change in her phone habits, the coldness that crept into her voice over the past year. I thought we were just going through a rough patch, that it'd pass. I thought I knew her. Turns out I didn't know shit. I didn't go home. Instead, I found a cheap motel off the I-95, paid cash. The clerk didn't ask questions, didn't look twice. I locked myself in that room and sat on the edge of the bed until sunrise. Never turned on the TV, never even pulled off my shoes. Her calls started the next morning. At first, I stared at the screen. Just her name lighting up. Emily, Mobile. I let it ring, over and over. Then she started texting. "We need to talk. Please call me. Daniel, it's not what you think." I threw the phone across the room. Didn't break, but I wish it had. I didn't eat. Not for 2 days. Just drank warm water from the bathroom sink. My stomach twisted any time I thought about food. I couldn't sleep either. Every time I closed my eyes, I'd see them in our bed. My bed. Her laugh would echo in my head and jolt me awake. I didn't even recognize myself in the mirror. Eyes bloodshot, beard coming in patchy, hair a mess. I looked like someone who'd crawled out of a wreck. And that's exactly what I was. Third night in that motel, I turned off the ringer. stuffed the phone in the drawer. Didn't want to see her name again. Didn't want to hear her voice or her excuses. I knew whatever she had to say was worthless. She made her choice. What I couldn't shake was how blind I'd been, how much time I wasted trying to fix things she'd already decided to break. I kept asking myself, how long had it been going on? Was it just him, or were there others? Did I ever matter to her at all? It wasn't just the betrayal that burned, it was what it did to me. I didn't know who I was without her. That scared the hell out of me. But by the end of that week, something in me shifted, not all at once, but enough. I got up, showered, shaved, and looked at myself again. Still hollow, still angry. But now there was something else. Resolve. I knew I couldn't go back to what I was, couldn't keep living like I'd been, waiting on someone else to choose me. I had to stop letting life happen to me. She ripped everything apart. Fine. Now I had nothing left to lose, and I could work with that. The phone was still in the drawer. I stared at it for a long time before pulling it out. There were 12 missed calls, 3 voicemails, a bunch of texts, none of them worth reading. But I opened one anyway. Please, just call me. So I did. She picked up on the first ring. Daniel, she said, like she'd been expecting me all day. Her voice was calm, too calm, like she hadn't blown our life to pieces. You've got 5 minutes, I said. Use them wisely. She exhaled, long and dramatic. I know you're hurt, but we can get through this. One mistake doesn't erase everything we've built. One mistake? My jaw tightened. You were in our bed, Emily, with some guy who laughed in my face. That wasn't fair, okay? But let's not pretend like everything was perfect before that happened. You really think that's the issue here? That I was boring or something? She didn't answer right away. Then I heard her sigh again, fake patience dripping from it. You were predictable, Daniel. Same job, same dinner, same bedtime. Every damn day. I felt like I was drowning in routine. So screwing someone else fixed that? Her tone sharpened. You always want things to be black and white. It's not. People change. I changed. When? I snapped. When did you start checking out of this marriage? Give me a date. Was it last year? 2 years ago? When did I stop being enough? Silence. Then she laughed. Not loud, not mocking, just empty. I don't know. Maybe when I realized life with you would always be the same. Safe, dull, like driving in a straight line forever. I felt like she'd kicked me in the chest. Everything I'd done, working overtime, saving for vacations, making sure she never had to stress about bills. It was never about excitement. It was about showing up, being steady, reliable, and now that was a punchline. Wow, I said quietly. You really never saw me, did you? Oh, don't act like a victim. You weren't perfect either. No, I said, but I was loyal. I was present. You were just looking for a way out. She tried to cut in, but I was already done. I pulled the phone from my ear, tapped end call, and stared at the screen for a second. Then I blocked her. Every number, every platform. Gone. I stood up and walked to the mirror above the cheap motel sink. There I was. Same face, same tired eyes. But something was different. I didn't see a husband anymore, or a victim. I saw a guy who got knocked on his ass and was still standing. I turned on the faucet and splashed cold water on my face, stared at myself again. This wasn't the end. It was just the break before the restart. I left that motel the next morning without looking back. Drove straight to the closest gym, signed up, and hit the weights like I had something to prove, because I did. First day, I could barely lift anything without my arms shaking. Didn't matter, I kept going. I showed up the next morning and the next. 5 a.m. became non-negotiable. Rain, sore, half dead, I didn't care. The pain made sense. It gave me something to push against. I threw out every frozen meal and box of crap in my kitchen, cleaned out the pantry like I was purging poison, replaced it all with chicken, greens, eggs, water. My fridge started to look like it belonged to someone who gave a damn. I didn't cheat once. Not because I wanted a six-pack. I just needed to feel like I had control over something again. That same night, I pulled up my phone and nuked my social media. Facebook, deleted, Instagram, gone, Twitter, burned it. I wasn't going to keep scrolling through fake smiles and half-truths. I was done watching other people's highlights while I was sitting in the dirt. And Emily's numbers? Every single one blocked. No more texts, no more second guessing, no more looking back. I dumped half my closet into trash bags. The button-downs I hadn't worn in years, the hoodies that smelled like old habits, gone. I walked into a high-end menswear store in Stamford and told the guy at the counter I wanted to look like someone with a reason to walk into a room. He raised an eyebrow, nodded once, and brought out suit after suit until I found the ones that made me stand up straighter without even trying. $1,000 damage on the card. Didn't blink. I walked out of there carrying confidence in garment bags. At work, people started noticing. My boss pulled me aside one morning, said I looked focused. That was his word, focused, like I'd finally shown up as the version of myself I was supposed to be. I didn't even realize how checked out I'd been before, just coasting. Coworkers stopped me in the hallway. "You've been hitting the gym, huh? New haircut? You good, man?" I kept it simple, just nodded and moved on. I wasn't doing it for them. I wasn't even doing it to prove Emily wrong anymore. This was about me. Every day I walked into that gym, I reminded myself I wasn't who I was 2 months ago. I wasn't the guy who came home early to make pasta and got gutted instead. I wasn't the man standing frozen in a bedroom doorway. I was the guy who walked out, the guy who woke up, rebuilt, and got his damn life back. And I wasn't done yet. The suit fit like armor, black wool, tailored sharp, with a deep blue tie that punched just enough color to stand out without trying too hard. I adjusted the cuffs, checked the time, and walked into the ballroom like I owned it, even though I barely knew anyone in the damn place. Charity gala for some medical nonprofit, my boss had given me the ticket. I hadn't planned on going, but something about the invite hit different. I didn't want to stay in. I wanted to be seen. The place was lit up. Glass chandeliers, music low and classy, servers walking around with champagne on trays. I nodded at a few familiar faces, then headed straight for the bar. "Whiskey, neat," I told the bartender. "You look like a man who just got promoted or divorced." The voice came from my left. I turned, and there she was, Vanessa. Long black dress, hair pinned up tight, red lipstick that said she didn't mess around. She held a glass of wine in one hand and looked at me like she'd already decided whether I was interesting or not. I smirked. "Why not both?" She raised an eyebrow. "Now that's a hell of a combo. You celebrating?" Let's just say I stopped waiting for life to fix itself. Vanessa turned toward me fully, like that answer earned her attention. Good. Most people never figure that out. They just keep waiting until it's too late. Her voice was smooth, low, confident. She didn't blink too much, didn't fidget. I liked that. "What about you?" I asked. "What are you here for?" "Time," she said, sipping her wine. "I like watching people waste it. Reminds me not to." That made me laugh. "A little dark, a little honest," she said. "Most of these people are here for pictures and tax write-offs. No one cares about the cause." I leaned on the bar, facing her now. "You always this blunt?" "Only when it matters." We talked for half an hour without even realizing it. Work, travel, how we both hated people who used the word manifest like it was a life plan. She worked in private finance, owned her own firm, wasn't impressed by money or titles, said she measured people by what they risked. I told her about walking away from my marriage, how it burned everything down but forced me to finally show up in my own life. Vanessa didn't pity me. She didn't even flinch. She just nodded and said, "Good. Playing it safe is the slowest kind of death." That hit. No one had ever said it like that before. No fluff, no sympathy, just a challenge. And damn if I didn't feel it. By the time the second drink hit the bar, we were both leaning in closer, laughing at private jokes like we'd known each other longer than an hour. She glanced down at her glass, then back at me. "You want to keep pretending this party's worth staying at?" "Nope," I said immediately. She smiled. "Then let's go." We left without telling anyone. Just walked out the front door like two people who didn't owe anyone anything. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I wasn't running from something. I was choosing something better. 2 days after our first night out, the buzz started. Some guy from work, Jake, the type who always knew everyone's business, pulled me aside. "Hey man, just a heads up," he said, low voice. "Word is Emily's gonna be at the next gala. People are saying she's been asking about you." I didn't say anything. He added, "I think she regrets it." I just smirked. Too late. That same night, a message popped up on my phone. Emily, we should talk before the gala. I didn't open it, didn't delete it either. Just looked at it for a second, then locked my screen and went back to what I was doing. She didn't want a conversation. She wanted closure, and I wasn't handing that to her. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to cry. I was going to walk in with Vanessa on my arm, and that would be the statement. Later that evening, I brought it up while Vanessa and I were having drinks at her place. She already knew about Emily. Let me guess, Vanessa said, swirling her glass. She suddenly realized you're a catch again? Apparently, yeah. She doesn't want you. She wants back the version of you she thinks she broke, I laughed. Exactly. So let's ruin her night properly, Vanessa said, straight-faced. You in? I leaned back. Fully. We planned it like a tactical operation. Time of arrival, route through the ballroom, where to pause, who to greet. Vanessa was ruthless, in the best way. She needs to see what you look like when you're no longer trying to make her happy, she said. Next morning, I went shopping again. This time, I wasn't dressing to prove anything. I was dressing because it felt like I'd earned it. I picked a sleek black suit, clean, no shine, tailored so precisely it felt like it was sewn onto me, paired it with a charcoal shirt, no tie. Understated, sharp, lethal. When I put it on that night, I looked in the mirror and didn't see the man who got walked on. I saw the man who rebuilt himself from ashes. Vanessa showed up at my place to get ready together. When she walked in, I had to pause. Her dress was midnight blue, cut sharp at the waist, with a slit that told you she didn't come to play nice. Hair pulled back tight, bold earrings, not a single wasted detail. She saw me staring and smiled. You clean up, okay? You look dangerous. That's the point. Before we left, I checked my phone one last time. The message from Emily was still sitting there. I archived it without reading. She didn't deserve a response. What she deserved was exactly what was coming. The valet barely had time to open the door before Vanessa stepped out like she'd been born on a red carpet. Heads turned before we even reached the stairs. I stepped out behind her, adjusted my cufflinks, and offered her my arm. She took it without hesitation, like we'd done this 100 times. Like this wasn't about revenge or making a statement. It was just who we were now. The doorman greeted us, eyes flicking between us with that little pause people give when they're trying to place someone but can't. Inside, the lighting was low and golden, music humming behind conversations, glasses clinking. I walked through the lobby and felt the shift immediately. Eyes tracked us. Conversations paused for half a beat, not in a tabloid way, in a who the hell is that way. I hadn't felt like this in years. Vanessa leaned in and whispered, "You feel that?" "Yeah," I said, eyes scanning the crowd. "I feel it." We stepped into the main ballroom, and there it was, like gravity pulling at my spine. Emily. She was standing at the far end of the room by the bar, holding a champagne flute, laughing a little too hard at something her new boyfriend said. He was tall, clean-shaven, wearing a suit like it was borrowed. His hand rested on her hip like he owned her. Then she saw me. Her smile froze, glass still in hand, mid-laugh, but her eyes locked on me and didn't move. She blinked once, twice, like her brain needed time to process it. Then she looked at Vanessa. That's when the jealousy hit her, hard and fast. I watched it cross her face in real time, eyes narrowed, lips pressed together. She tilted her head just slightly, like she was trying to figure out who Vanessa was, why she looked like that, why she was standing next to me. Vanessa didn't even flinch. She caught Emily's stare, held it for a beat, and then smiled. Not friendly, not fake, just dominant. Then she turned to the older couple beside us and struck up a conversation like nothing had happened. She knew how to own a room, and she didn't need me to do it. I let her talk. I didn't say a word to Emily, didn't glance over, didn't acknowledge the way her body tensed or how she shifted her weight like she was considering walking over. I just stood there, glass in hand, perfectly calm. People came up to us, co-workers, strangers, board members. Vanessa held court like she'd been invited by the governor himself. Everyone wanted a piece of her, which meant, indirectly, they wanted a piece of me. I didn't brag, I didn't explain, I just smiled and kept my posture tight, letting the suit and silence say everything that needed saying. And I could feel Emily watching. Every time Vanessa laughed, every time someone leaned in to compliment her or shake my hand, I felt the heat of Emily's stare burning from across the room. Her boyfriend tried talking to her again. She didn't even hear him. Vanessa leaned toward me and said under her breath, "She's drowning." I didn't respond, just took a slow sip of my drink. Let her drown. For once, I wasn't the guy begging to be seen. I wasn't the quiet one in the background trying to fix something broken. I was the one people turned their heads for, and she was the one left behind. I caught the moment she broke. Emily shifted her glass to her left hand, smoothed her dress pointlessly, and started walking toward us. Her boyfriend was mid-sentence, and she just left him standing there like a cardboard cutout. She tried to smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Daniel," she said, voice higher than usual, a fake warmth coating every syllable. "Wow, you look different." Vanessa turned slightly, just enough to see her without giving up her posture. I didn't move. "Guess I clean up well," I said, keeping my tone flat. Emily tilted her head like she was curious, like we were old friends catching up, instead of two people who hadn't spoken since she blew our marriage apart. "So, what changed?" she asked. "New haircut? New lifestyle?" Her eyes flicked to my suit, then to Vanessa. "It's just surprising." Vanessa raised her eyebrow, but stayed quiet. I met Emily's stare without blinking. Turns out losing dead weight works wonders. She flinched, just a twitch, but it was enough. She turned her attention to Vanessa like she needed to reset the conversation. "I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name." Vanessa smiled, clean, unbothered. Didn't offer it. That caught Emily off guard. "I'm Emily. I was Daniel's—" Vanessa cut in. "I know who you were." Emily's face hardened. "Right, well, it's just nice to see he's dating again." Vanessa glanced at me. "Is that what this is? Dating?" I shrugged. "Call it whatever you want. It works." Emily laughed, but it cracked in the middle. "You were never one for flashy types, Daniel." Vanessa stepped closer, her tone velvet over steel. "Flashy's for people trying to impress. I don't try." Emily didn't respond. Her eyes darted toward her boyfriend, who had wandered closer and now stood behind her, looking bored. He leaned around her and offered a hand to Vanessa. "I'm Grant." Vanessa shook his hand, cool and polite. "Of course you are." He held on a second longer than necessary. Emily noticed. Grant turned to me. "So, you and Emily used to be a thing?" Vanessa laughed before I could answer. "Oh no," she said. "That wasn't a thing. That was a phase." Emily's mouth tightened, jaw twitching as she tried to recover. "Grant, can I talk to you for a second?" He ignored her, still watching Vanessa like she was a rare car he couldn't afford. We stood there for a few more seconds. Me, Vanessa, Emily, and Grant, all wrapped in this awkward tension Emily couldn't control anymore. The woman who once laughed in my face now stood quietly, clutching her glass like it was holding her up. She tried to smile again, but I saw right through it. The corners of her mouth moved, but her eyes said it all. She'd lost. Not just me, not just the moment, everything. And worse, she knew it. Every time Vanessa laughed, every time someone walked past and complimented me, every subtle lean in between us, Emily shrank just a little more. I didn't say another word to her, didn't need to. Let her watch, let her regret. Vanessa stepped away to greet someone near the auction table, giving me a clear view of the bar. I saw Emily move the second Vanessa turned her back. She walked up fast, but tried to act casual, fake smile loaded and ready. "Daniel, wait, just for a second," she said, voice low, almost shaky. I didn't respond, just looked at her. She glanced around like she didn't want anyone to hear. "I didn't mean for any of that to happen. I never wanted to hurt you." I tilted my head. "You did it anyway." I was confused. Things were falling apart, and I didn't know how to fix it. "You didn't try to fix anything. You replaced me." She winced. "It wasn't about you. I was unhappy with myself. I made a mistake." "Stop." Her mouth snapped shut. I stepped in closer, kept my voice calm. "You don't get to rewrite it now. You laughed in my face. You chose someone else. That's the whole story." "I didn't know what I was doing," she whispered. "Yeah, you did," I said. "And now you're standing here because you thought I'd still be the guy who needed your apology." She looked down, then back up, eyes glistening. "Do you still care? Even a little?" I didn't even hesitate. "No." She blinked. just stood there. "I'm done carrying it," I said. "All of it. The guilt, the questions, the what-ifs. It's not mine anymore." Her lip trembled. "You really don't feel anything." "Not for you." I left her standing there. Vanessa turned as I walked up. She didn't ask anything, just gave me that look, the one that said she already knew what happened. I reached for her hand. "Ready to go?" "Absolutely." We walked out together, slow and steady through the front doors, her heels clicking in rhythm with mine. Behind me, I could feel Emily watching, but I didn't look back. Not once.